Hello, everybody. Everybody's coming into the room. I love that. Have you had a busy week so far? It's something out there, especially in the States. And Claire, you watch from afar the hecticness that we can run into during the Thanksgiving week. But welcome everybody who has joined. I know your time is precious, and that you would actually take the time to be here is wonderful. And your animals that have brought us together, as always, they're the best networkers in the world. And there's totally an animal network at play. In fact, I have my own animal network going on, and where I'll be going to spend Thanksgiving, and wanted to share what I affectionately call the gang. It's a little dog group that has been together for quite some time, and they've come at different times. They're all different ages, and they have very, very distinct and individual personalities. They're a team, and they're also very, very individual. So I'd like for you to meet the gang, and they literally are a gang. Uh, and they definitely have their roles to play. And, if anything with animals, it's really important that we see who they really are, not just a breed, not just, say a generalization, but just like we are, they're very, very distinct. And so I'd like you to meet them. So basically, this little team has decided that they're a gang, and they all hang out in front of the fireplace. But if there's something on the counters, Trixie, who is a thief, and you'll see her, is an island hopper. So she will literally get up on a chair, hop up on the island, take anything that's on there, and she pulls it back, pulls it off, and brings it to their lair, which are beds in front of the fireplace, where they all share in the loot. The interesting thing is Paris at the back there, who is sleeping right behind me, is definitely the snitch. She is the joy police. It's too much, and she will tattle on them in a second. Poppy is very she thinks everything's fun, so everything's like a fun game to her. So she'll always run and do something just to keep me from finding out what happened. Twinkie and Minnie are probably the first two in that came to me. Minnie came first, then Twinkie, and they tag team off each other. Minnie actually, shortly after this photo, passed. And I was thinking who she passed the baton to of being the boss. She definitely passed it to Twinkie. So Twinkie has dual roles now. She is both the boss and the muscle. And Sprout thinks of these things. She's super smart. She undoes all kinds of latches. And, back to Twinkie a little bit, she stole some, like a $20 bill one time, and grabbed it and went flying underneath the sofa and stuck her head out, and I'm like trying to grab it. So we ended up ripping it. She was pulling, I was pulling. It was a video moment. So Sprout and Lexi, who the Lexi was in last, both tag team to think of these creative ways to create little doggy mayhem. So as you can see, they're all a group, and yet they're so individual with their own essences. And I want you to be thinking of your own animals, and, how they show up, the roles they play in your life. And right before we got on, I was thinking, in the holiday time, how difficult it is sometimes to have presence. Like, how do we bring presence into our lives during this time? Things are hectic. We're rounding out toward the end of the year. And I'm wondering, and you feel free to share in the comments, I'm wondering how you find presence during time of challenge or chaotic life at the moment. How do you seek out presence? How do you do it with your animal? When I we'll see these guys shortly. They're little joy guides. So they immediately bring me into the moment, happy to see me, doing their little, different types of things. And you can't be anywhere other than where you are. You're very present in the moment. So think about it. How do you become present, and how do you do it with your animals? How do your animals help you do it? Help you? How do they help bring you into the present moment so that you're not untethered and floating up into space somewhere? So that is also something that I've got wonderful people that I can't wait for you to meet and to talk to. I got a question last week, and Claire had asked it. How do I do the communication? Was that something I have to think of, or did it just come in naturally? And that stirred my thinking for the rest of the week, actually. So it was a great question. What I'd like to add to the communication part, which I feel like all of you are wonderful communicators, is I'm always operating in the receptive mode. So that intuitive listening that I talked about is just being in receiving mode. So in other words, when I have a session with somebody, I don't necessarily, you may come with questions, and questions are great, but that actually is a launching pad for the pet to step in and share what they want to share. So it's an open invitation. I actually never know what we're going to talk about. That happened the other day where the people were really, really concerned that their dog was unhappy and it was not very social and seemed really needy. And as I connected with him, he told me he didn't feel safe and secure in the house. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So the session evolved into something, as it always does. It's never just about the animal. It's always about us, always, hands down, no question. It turned out that they themselves were quite chaotic, and they were in a house that wasn't theirs. There's this in-between house. So it's these, how do we ground when we're in these transition spaces? So that I always have kind of a relaxed awareness. So think about that with you and your animals. Where are you? You're running your lists in your head? How do you ground? How do you become present? Are you in that receiving mode? And just kind of like, what do you need to tell me? Because be ready to, a lot of times, hear what you won't be expecting. And back to the session, they talked about a lot how they didn't have time in general for each other, themselves, their life. And he said to me, well, they made time for me. They made time for this session. Ask them that. So I'm like, great. So I asked him, you were able to carve out this kind of time. They said, well, we did it for him. And I said, well, he's pointing to you needing to do it for you. So that's how, I never know what they're going to say. And it's not like drilling down, going after a specific question. The questions I find, no matter how specific, actually open up the space. So it's really them leading the session, just like they will always lead here, just like they led you here. They connected us together, enough to where you're taking the time. And then the other thing, right before I get everybody on, is when you're with your animal, what do you notice most? Is it you notice their form? What are you looking at when you notice? Or do you notice their essence? So when I put up the little dog gang, could you feel their essence, each one of them? You see their bodies are all different. They came from all different backgrounds, all different ages, and yet they're a family and they're a team. What do you notice with your pet? Because I'll guarantee you, if you sit down with your pet, and this is one of the ways that helps you ground during the holidays, just to take a moment, what you're connecting to with them is their essence that comes in form. it comes in form. So if you're always looking to the essence of something or the essence of people, you see the form, you see the visual. It's what's into. It's what's the pieces that are who they truly are. So I'd love to bring everybody on and have just meet you and talk to you, see what's on your mind, see what your animals have to say to us. And does anybody want to go first? Or we can unmute you. Now, I'm a teacher, so I'm going to come after you. That doesn't go away. You can take the teacher out of the schoolroom, but you can't take the teacher out of the person. Hi, Connie.
Hi, Tami. How are you?
I'm good. I see you got the baby there.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. Hi, everyone. And this is Sage. Sage is 5 months, going on 6 next week. I can't believe where the time has gone. It has just flown by. And she is just about ready to go start doing her work at the Aspen Valley Hospital. She's getting a little restless. So
she's too direct.
Yes. Sage, come here. She's just amazing. And Tami, you know the story behind Sage.
So real quickly, because I think it's a wonderful story to share with the others and everybody. How'd you come up with that name?
That
happened.
I was in Europe, and I kept getting these hits. And her full name is Ariana Sage, and Ari, it was my dog Archie, who I lost in May. His original name was Ari, and Anna was another dog that I had that Archie grew up with. So I came up with Ariana. And Sage, it just came through me in the S-A-J-E. Wayne Dyer has a daughter named Sage, and I've always loved that name, and it just came through me. And I didn't even have her. I didn't even know if there was a litter out there, and she is my dog Archie's niece. And I got back to the States, called the breeder. She just happened to answer the phone, and she said, "Baby, the Lord sent you," and the rest is history. And I got Sage at 8 weeks, and she went right into training, and she's just amazing. She's a lot like her uncle. He's all through her, as you told me, Tami, and she has the temperament that he has. And I cannot tell you the healing that has taken place over these last 5 months of having her. It was truly a gift, and it was truly meant to be. Unbeknownst to me, when I got back from Europe, I was thinking, as you know, next year I'll get another dog. And there was a window that happened to be open, and Tami shared with me through Archie, it was loud and clear that there was a female pup in that litter for me. And it just worked out. I flew to Orlando to get her. The breeder came to the airport. It was a quick switch, and the rest is history. She's absolutely amazing.
That's the way it usually works. It's when we least expect it. We have this plan in our heads about when something, I'll have, like, because you had the plan of, next spring. I was like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, let me get up to speed really quickly here. And so I don't want to do shock therapy or anything, but I'm glad it tweaked your awareness enough when I said that to be like, it doesn't exactly fit into place, but what happened is your mind opened to it, which opened the door for her to come in.
Yeah, it just
are closed. It's like shuts everything off. It's like we've got myopic vision and we can't see. And don't you know, our guides and the spirit animals are like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to send in, like, this got to be an intervention.
And that's exactly what it was. Yeah, divine intervention.
Everything fell into place after that. The place where because you weren't in a place you could take a puppy. Yeah.
Yes. And it just, you said spirit has led you this far. Why wouldn't spirit continue to guide you? And sure enough, now I live about 10 minutes from town, and I'm in the country. We're having a major snowstorm today.
Oh, wow.
And Sage had her first play in heavy snow this morning, and she just loved it. And it's quite a miracle how this has all fallen into place. And you and Archie knew. I was the one that didn't know, and I had to open up and trust. And I did, and it really has all fallen into place for me.
I would say from me as well, and you all that are watching, I've never necessarily gone out searching. It's always been from inspiration. If I'm led to a photo or I get the hit to go somewhere, and like you were led on a path, and with intuition, we don't get shown the whole playbook. We don't, and we get shown about as much as headlights, and then we get to that place, and then we get shown some more. So we're shown in bite-sized pieces, and you can feel, like, for instance, me saying, yeah, I think we need to rethink this one. I'm not sure this pup's going to be available on your timeline. We have to switch it up to what spirit timeline is. And that's a lot of getting out of our heads.
That was a big lesson for me. Yeah. A beautiful lesson. And I take classes in living in the miracle zone with Marcy Shimoff and Lisa Garr. And
yeah.
I've been doing this for several years now, and I had to realize, honey, get in the miracle zone. Live as if this miracle is coming to you. And it's been a beautiful, beautiful gift. Yeah. And Archie's with us. He's so
definitely. And you've got matching healer souls,
Absolutely. We're a soul family.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. And I'm sure everybody else can appreciate it. I hope it's getting your kind of minds thinking about what I teach about a lot is pay attention to when they come in. Pay attention.
That's so true.
Always some opening in your life, whether transition point, let's call them. There's always that transition point when they come in and when they leave. So she's definitely on the journey with you. And I think you're going to really develop together this total teamwork like you had with Archie.
Yes, I feel it already.
Because she's super eager. Yeah.
Good. And she does go to the office with me, and she's already done her healing work with some clients of mine that were in distress. She just went right over to the couch, put her paws up, and started to lick their tears. And then they started laughing. And so already she knows what to do. And she's 5 months old. That's what blows me away. She's been here. I think we've been together. And when I picked her up at the airport, the way she just gazed into my eyes, it was just this soul meeting soul. It was a knowing. And it was total comfort ever since.
Yeah. I love that. You'll have to write all that down because it's such a powerful story, and it helps all of us see the connecting points. Things look super random, like this happens here and this happens here. No, they're all connected. And it's a matter of kind of being curious as to what that is. And curiosity is an open space. It's not a I know it space. So I appreciate you sharing. That was wonderful. And I appreciate
you so much, Tami.
Sage making an appearance, and then she's like, okay, y'all got this.
Yeah.
I'm out here. You have this.
I had given her all of her treats too. And she was like, okay, I'm done.
Exactly. Thank you. And is anybody else got some thoughts? I see we've got some sweeties there. People are holding and wondering. Do you have any questions?
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Sorry, I don't know how to work this.
That's all right. I don't either.
Hello. Sorry, what was the question?
I was just feeling your energy, intently watching and taking some things in. Do you have a pet?
I do. He's, I don't know if you can see, probably not. He's asleep anyway, but he's called Brandon. He's a dog, and he's 11, and I've had him for 6 years, and he was a street dog originally.
How did he come to you if he was a street dog?
I started volunteering at an animal shelter, and he came in the room, got on my lap. Very, very similar to I think it was Deanna actually. He got on my lap and went to sleep, and the regular staff was saying he's very aggressive. He doesn't like people. Be careful, he'll tear your throat out. And we had a connection straight away. I didn't go to get a dog. I couldn't really have a dog where I live, but I knew that before long he would come home with me, and that was it really. I agreed to foster him for one night. He came and never went.
I love that. Well, he definitely was. He's saying like came at the 11th hour for you. You didn't realize you needed him.
I
And
didn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And was your life? You know, I know you were volunteering, and that's a lot of times how souls reach us. You know, if we're volunteering,
Yeah.
where I know that, yeah, it's a thing. So that's definitely a destination spot, and the fact that you weren't looking is also one of those like signature pieces of they're supposed to be with you, especially if you weren't looking. Like definitely looking.
Yeah.
So how is he? What role has he played in your life?
He controls everything, to be honest. We're together 24 hours a day. We live together, we work together, everything. And I think we needed each other, and we found each other at the right time.
Absolutely.
And we are very similar, I think, in so many ways. And I think we've grown together.
How are you similar?
We're both fairly quiet and like our own space. And we don't. When I first got him, we couldn't go near other people. He was very aggressive because he'd been mistreated, and he likes to do his own thing, really. And just certain things that I can't even think of now. I just think, God, that if I was a dog, I'd be doing that. And I just think we're so similar, characteristic wise.
I love that. Would you say you're twin flames?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's feeling like this soul, almost a soul merging between the two of you.
Yeah.
Tremendous bond. And he says that I'm getting a sense from him, and he's learning. You came to help him learn about being loved and forgiveness and trust. Now,
Yeah.
of any of those, do you feel like those have been some of your things you've been learning in life as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have, whatever soul path we're on, usually they're on a similar soul path to where we're learning it together. It's just a matter of seeing it. Like you said, oh, I think he's pretty similar to me. I love how you can articulate that because he feels seen. And again, I guess that's the theme today, are the eyes and being seen. That's what Spirit's wanting to bring through is how do we see each other? And do we see just the surface, or do we see who a person or who an animal, a being? Doesn't matter whether you're got a fur body or a human body. Do we see the being? And he feels seen by you. And at the end of our lives, I think for any of us, we want to know if we actually mattered. And he says, you have shown him that he matters. I just want to cry. That's so sweet. He's got a very big heart, just like you do. And he says that he put up a front because he was afraid. He's been afraid to love. And you've broken through that. That's a tremendous gift you've given each other.
Yeah.
And it's reciprocal. He says that do you worry about his age?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you worry about? He's pointing it out. That's why I'm bringing it up. What do you worry about his age?
He's got an illness at the moment, and he's 12 and he's had a hard. He's coming up to 12. He's had a hard life, and yeah, I want him to be with me forever, and I feel that we're coming to the end, really.
Is that just because you're thinking it, or because you actually feel it?
Both.
Mm.
Both, and he's not very well.
He says that, well, he's telling me he is slowing down, and but age is interesting in the animals, because we can hear the vet say, you got a senior here, and I've had so many animals say, like, they don't see themselves as an age, in other words.
Yeah.
And I've had ones come to me, like, even in that little dog group, there's, I think, Sprout's the youngest at 8. Then they're, 12, 13, 14, and they have no intention of, they don't see themselves like that. Just like, do we see ourselves in an age? Think about it, a lot of people do, right? So for you to be present with him, which I feel that there's this steady, he's saying you got a steady heart like he does. And he's saying, don't worry, that he will let you know exactly what he needs, that all you have to do is tune into him, and the way you do that is being present with him like you are. Like,
yeah.
He knows, he trusts you, like, unconditionally and without any reservation, and you trust him. So with that kind of a connection and bond, then you have that flow of communication. He'll show you what he needs, definitely.
Okay.
So don't worry about him. That's why he brought up the fact that you were kind of like ruminating over the the age piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you for, like, this is wonderful. I kept feeling him wanting to step forward, so I appreciate you playing with me and letting me bring you on. And I'd like to, we got some people commenting here that, let's see. Julie says, do you know if hi Julie, my chocolate lab will be going for x-rays tomorrow morning on jet right leg. She's 9.5. I'm not sure. Let's say we'll be going. Oh, we'll be going to be okay for x-rays tomorrow. I would check into them, take pause and see. This is why I always like to do. I have a plan. We can go according to plan, but I always check in to see if that still feels right to me. I just did it this week. I canceled something yesterday, and I'm like, it just doesn't feel right to take her. Actually, I can't remember who I was going to take, but I had it set to do so. And so you can tune in that way. The energy's current. It's in the moment. That's where you're going to find it. So the more you're in the moment yourself, the more you're going to be able to tap into that energy it's live. It's like a direct connect. And so I have some other people asking, and I appreciate these comments, will, like, Cheryl, let's see, there's somebody that, will my Sarah be okay? Probably need a little bit more, background. And that's another thing when you're communicating with your animals. If you're wanting to know something a little deeper, then are you going to be okay? Think about that. What's underneath that is, hey, I'm worried about you, and I'm worried, I'm feeling this. So you share that with your animal. It's a wonderful kind of, I want to say it's a hack that we aren't told. You follow that in and you go under. What's the real question? Right? So it's always good to tune in to where your emotions are and your heart is, because that's going to tell you what the real question is. So anyway, if we are in a session, that's what we deep dive into, and it's able to unearth what is really wanting to be brought up by your animal and spirit. So let me grab some more people here. Cheryl, it's nice to meet you.
Hi. It's so nice to meet you.
It's good to see you.
Oh, I have to take you with the 2 cats in the kitchen. I worked long day yesterday, so I got up late. I'm so happy. This is Sophie. I don't know if you can see her. She's not communicating because she's upset. She doesn't get along with our other cat, Bobby, who's waiting here patiently for water because I got up late. Can you see him?
I can.
And all he cares about is the food and water. They're my daughter and son's cats. They were here after our dog, Austin. And they just don't get along, and we don't know. I just kind of want to know their history, or do you need to look at them to
Well, I mean, it's helpful. The first one, what's her name?
Sophie?
She's got her.
She was a feral cat in the area, and she chose us and my daughter. Oh, and you talked to me about the dogs, my dog Austin and the crows, and the crows.
Okay, yes.
The crows just flew up now.
Yep. Yeah.
So I woke up, they're ready to eat. So, but Sophie Bean is just a beautiful soul, but she has that resting bitch face, but she's a beautiful soul. And I don't think she has time for her.
Who came in first?
Sophie.
And then the other one.
And then Bobby came in after my son moved back home.
So was Sophie's your son as well?
No, Sophie is my daughter's cat. And then Bobby is my son's cat. He came from a broken relationship and they had 2 cats, but he just got Bobby.
You know, I think definitely for cats especially, they're in charge of spaces.
Yeah.
Cats collectively, the proverbial cat in the barn is a thing. They take care of spaces, and in their house they will have their certain space, and you know, they teach us about boundaries. They teach us what healthy space is, and she's offended about something. When you said she was not happy, what's she offended? What's she offended by?
He bullies her. Like he just wants to play, but he bullies her. He chases her. He does everything she doesn't like. And so we have, we protect her, but sometimes we're not here. We try, she just wants no part of him.
She wonders if that's okay, or does she have to be friends?
No, she doesn't have to be friends. We don't want to force her to be friends. I think we would love that they get along, but I don't think it's working for her.
Well, I think what it needs to be kind of looked at is, we've got these ideas of how we think it should roll, and the ideal, we get this like ideal script going, and then our kids show up and they're all different, and the animals are all different, and it doesn't go according to plan. It's not one big happy family because her energy is reserved and tucked in. She's very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
And she said he's a bit of I know you said bully, but it's like he's not the bull in the china shop, but he's got kind of that in every space of hers. She has no space. It's just
he does try to do that everywhere she goes. He'll sit. We call him our autistic cat. He just doesn't read the room, has no awareness. I don't think he's mean. I think he's
oblivious.
Yeah. He doesn't care, but okay, feed me. Okay. I'll chase her. Okay. You don't want me to chase her? Okay.
And she really doesn't want to have to fight back. She'd rather avoid that, and that's stressful for her. But they do have words.
Okay.
Each other. It's like she's learning her own boundaries. Like, when is it okay to say stay and then have somebody really mean it? So for her, she would have to say it in the way he can hear it. So a lot of times,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So a lot of times, however somebody is approaching us and how they present, we can talk to them in the way we would normally do. They can't hear us, but if we get a little louder and it's like, oh, Oh, I get it. So I feel like that's part of her journey, whether she decides to, you know, create that kind of a boundary. She's also making some connection with you and boundaries. What's going on with that?
She is my daughter's cat, but I'm I'm the food lady.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
I have a purpose, and it's the food lady, and I love her to death. And I love that both my son and daughter moved back home, and I always worry about the cats. Like, she's hypothyroidism, so we have to give her medicine twice a day, and my daughter's not great at doing that.
Sensitivity piece.
And I don't, and with that, is that something that they developed, or is that just the same as medical, with everybody, the same as cats? Like, I don't know if her stress caused that.
You know, we have to take a deeper dive into that. I think you're managing it and it's fairly stable. I think it's
Yeah.
okay. She was actually asking me to ask you about, do you struggle with your own boundaries with others?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. There you are.
How's that?
Paw is being pointed straight at you. And that's what they'll do. They'll be like, excuse me, what about her?
She's right.
It's almost like when you get your boundaries, I'll learn how to do it too. So I would be talking to her about that and just say, what is it you need? What is it you need? I can, if this were me, I'd be saying, get off or get back, or maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you would do what she does and try to adjust around the situation so she doesn't have to confront. But I think you are being, what's up to be looked at is that piece in yourselves. You're very much alike in that area. So, it's probably worth a little bit of it's never just about these two cats can't get along, right?
Right.
It's always about us. And people don't know that coming into, communication sessions. They're like, what? It's about me? Because we're all connected and they're a mirroring extension of ourselves. So, yeah, I feel like, if she can feel like she has somewhat of her own space, even a short amount of time, just for a little 30 minutes, if you put him somewhere else, so she can just because she's also always on the alert.
She is.
Yeah.
He is. He just doesn't care. Like, can you see him?
He's trying also, he's occupying him. He's entertaining himself is what he's doing.
He's just waiting for the water. Oh, he wants to be petted.
There's a little
soul. He's a buffoon.
Yeah. I think for him, we just need to enhance, channel the energy. So he's channeling it in a different way other than going after her, if that makes sense, which he needs some distraction.
Toys, you mean? Games and things like that, or?
Yeah, I would try some different things. I would actually, if you can remove him from the space, he could handle a little time out.
Yeah, that makes sense. Put him in the room downstairs where it's big room.
Yeah. And give her some room to breathe. I think you'll find it helps. It'll help you too, because you're stressed out over it.
Yeah, it is. Were they aware of when Austin passed? Both of them?
The animals
last year?
Your animals are. Yes.
Okay. And Austin is good?
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Okay. We miss him so much, especially my husband.
He's suggesting, and I don't know if you've been thinking about this, doing some kind of a celebration for him between now and the end of the year.
Okay.
Whether it's you light a candle and you read something special, I think that would be a really, really powerful healing for you both. Something doesn't have to be the candle. Something where you honor him, whether you each write a letter to him, something where you connect, because I'm feeling you think you're disconnected and he's clearly not disconnected from you. And he finds it, he's sweet. he finds the crows very funny, that connection there.
Does he? Oh, that's so good. I was so worried that he would be betrayed. And I know my husband doesn't like me feeding them because, it brings squirrels and all kinds of other things. But yeah, I kind of I like feeding them. I feel like it's me being reminiscent of Austin sharing his duty to get rid of them. But that I feel like I'm betraying him at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's something that is coming from you. He's certainly not feeling that. Again, we project our stuff onto them without even realizing we're doing. Yeah. Do you feel betrayed? No, it's because I feel I betrayed you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anytime you start looking like projecting on, if you can catch it, just go, wonder what I need to see that's being called forth in me. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I really appreciate that. And I love all your posts on Facebook and I love what you do. Thank you so much.
Well, I was thinking right before I had to take the girls out. And I love that they're just sleeping through this, but here we are. I take the girls out and there's this doodle that has like attitude, and he's a big doodle, and he doesn't know good boundaries and will come after them. I call him the demon doodle. So that is like Tami behind the scenes, where I'm like, if you don't stop, we're going to have a talk. Like, I will come. So I took him out. He was out there. So I turn around, I take him out front, and he's out there and he's looking at me like you and me later. So I'm like you.
So Mama Bear.
Yep, absolutely. It's very nice meeting you. And I'd love to talk and see if anybody else wants to come alive. Well, we are out of time. And if you didn't get a chance to, share, definitely put it in the comments, and, I'll get to it as soon as I can next time. And I hope you all have like a wonderful Thanksgiving week, and are present with one another. Check in to see how present you are with, others, with yourself, and take care of yourself as well. So hopefully you'll be back soon and be back next time. Next week's going to be a really special week with talk on Wednesday, talking about how to navigate grief. And Jessica, this would be very good for you, navigating grief during the holidays and loss. How do we do that? What does it even look like? And, at some point we're all losing something. So it's always good to know. So thank you. And hopefully I will see you next week. Have a good holiday.